As Guerras de Napoleão, uma história internacional de 1803-1815, de Charles Esdell, publicada pela Esfera dos Livros, é a obra que hoje recomendamos. Não se trata somente de uma biografia sobre Napoleão Bonaparte e de uma análise das campanhas napoleónicas. Este livro, As Guerras de Napoleão, é sobretudo um estudo sobre as guerras na Europa.
Lots of people have asked me why on earth I've written yet another book on the Napoleonic Wars. And in fact, when my agent rang me and said to me, Charles, I'd like you to think about writing a big book on the Napoleonic Wars, I actually said to him, why? It's been done. What can I do that's new? Well, he told me to go away and think about it. And so I did. And I'd like to think that this book does actually, if you want, fill a gap in the market. Let me explain a little bit. There are essentially two types of book on the market when it comes to Napoleon. There are biographies of Napoleon, which basically tell a story of his life. There are biographies which are pro-Napoleon, and there are biographies which are anti-Napoleon. There are good biographies, there are bad biographies. But biographies, and they all basically do the same thing. Now, the other type of book looks a little bit more interesting on the surface, because it will say the Napoleonic Wars. Something other than just the life of Napoleon, but you open them up and actually you've got the same thing. You've just got the military life of Napoleon. So in other words, they will just concentrate on his doings as a military commander. And you will simply go from battle to battle to battle, and you get all the battles Napoleon was in. Well, yes, that's okay if you want a study of Napoleon's campaigns, and some of them are better and some of them are worse. But they're not histories of the Napoleonic Wars. Let me explain what I mean a little bit. Sometimes it's almost as if people think that the French Revolution happens in 1789 and Napoleon follows on, and everything else comes to a dead halt, and all the other worries, preoccupations, aspirations, ambitions that people have just sort of set aside, and everybody is determined to overthrow the French Revolution, overthrow Napoleon. It's not like that at all. The French Revolution, and indeed Napoleon, fit into an ongoing situation, fit into an international context which is already happening and which goes on happening. One of the most interesting books which has been written about this period is a book by a good friend of mine. It's called The French Revolutionary Wars. And the dates are 1787 to 1801. Well, French Revolutionary Wars breaking out in 1787. The French Revolution doesn't happen till 1789. His point, of course, is that the series of conflicts that we call the French Revolutionary Wars are actually part of a much wider series of conflicts which actually break out, in fact, in Eastern Europe in 1787. So in other words, what this book attempts to do is to look at the context of Napoleon, to show how Napoleon fits in, to address, if you like, the subjects which other books haven't addressed. So, is this a book about the Napoleonic Wars? Yes, of course it is. Is it just the same old book about the Napoleonic Wars? No, it isn't. At least, I hope it isn't.
A obra que hoje recomendamos, Leia Mais e Melhor, As Guerras de Napoleão, uma história internacional de 1803-1815, de Charles Esdell. E nós temos exemplares deste livro para lhe oferecer. Para se habilitar a ganhar um dos 5 livros que temos disponíveis, deve concorrer através do e-mail lermaislermelhor@filbox.com com resposta correta à pergunta: qual a naturalidade de Napoleão Bonaparte? Boa sorte e boas leituras!
Programa apoiado pelo Plano Nacional de Leitura.